Hello everybody, I hope you are well. That's another week past, hopefully not too much longer now before we get back on the golf course. On Wednesday I introduced you to Tim Galway's Inner Game of Golf, and we talked about one or two of the exercises that you could do from the book. The back hit exercise and the rhythm exercise with the da, da, da in the swing. So hopefully you've had a chance to explore those and just become aware of things and just notice what you noticed. Golf is probably a bit more difficult than most sports. We have all the time in the world standing over the ball. The ball's stationary, just waiting to receive an instruction from the club face. In other sports, particularly ball sports, you have no chance to overthink things, or you have to just react to the situation that's developing in front of you. And every situation is unique. That's not always the case in golf. Quite often you get a unique situation, but you're playing the same club, and the ball's still sitting there waiting for you, and it gives you all the time in the world to think about things. And quite often those things that we think about are negative. And we end up, over time, developing particular shots that we don't really fancy, or situations that we don't like. I think for Thornton, you could be standing on the 8th or the 18th tee, and I know a lot of you say to yourself, this is going on the railway line. And more often than not, you'll prove yourself right. Other things are shots out of bunkers, shots over bunkers. You start missing short putts, and you start to develop a problem. And you build an issue that may not really be there, but in our mind we develop those, and that's because of the time that we get to sort of stand over the ball. And there's always a risk that we might hit one of the unmentionables. Quite a destructive shot, that one for right-handed players, that sort of spins away to the right quite sharply, and you then have to go and hit another one, and you're pretty uncomfortable when you have to go and hit another one. If a tour pro hit one of those, they would maybe not laugh it off, but in some cases they do, and they just go back into their process for the next shot. So why is it that us sort of mere mortals develop barriers with our putting, with our chipping, with certain tee shots at certain holes? Why is that? So I'm going to take you right back to one of those situations. So think of one of those situations. Some of the things we've been doing over the last few days should help you with some of your visualization and some of the awareness and heightened awareness stuff that we've been doing. So that should help you in this situation. So let's go back to one of those shots, that 3.5 foot putt, or that chip onto a green, or a shot over a bunker, or one of those tee shots. Go right back there, feel it, see it, really go right back to actually experiencing that. Visualize the situation that you're in, and immerse yourself in those feelings. Where is your attention? Where is your attention? Is it internal or is it external? Is your attention quite narrow? Is it broad? Or is it multisensory? Can you see? Can you feel? Can you hear? Probably not. So I'm going to suggest to you, in that, if you got right back into that situation, your attention and your focus and your awareness would have been really quite narrow, and it would have been probably internal. You'd have probably started to feel uncomfortable and get anxious and maybe a bit tense. And when we're in that state, that's when it's difficult for us to perform. And that's where it aligns with Tim Galway's formula that our performance is actually our capability minus the interference. And this is where the interference comes from. Where our attention is focused and just how we feel over a particular shot. And if we do hit a bad shot, we tend to take those feelings and those emotions with us. And then we hit another bad shot. Maybe not right away, but we'll hit one in the future. And before we know it, we've built a problem for ourselves, created the problem for ourselves. And you get into this sort of spiral of being anxious over that shot. Your attention's maybe in the wrong area and your mind's maybe not in the right place. That then creates a bit of tension and anxiety. You then perform badly, and that reinforces the evidence. It gives you more evidence, and it reinforces that fear of failure, which is not good in golf. So hopefully you were able to go back to one of those situations, those shots that you don't like, the ones that you dread, and experienced that again. And I'm going to encourage you to try and be a little bit more broad with where you place your attention. For example, for chipping, instead of looking at the ball and sort of freezing over the ball, what would it be like if you were able to actually visualise the ball flight, visualise where the ball was landing, how it would spin and roll in towards the hole. If your attention was on that and not the physical act of the shot itself, that might make things easier. But let's go back into Tim Galway's book, The Inner Game of Golf, and maybe fine tune some of those exercises that you had. Our issues tend to be time, that we spend a lot of time over the ball, our thoughts, and they're linked. Sometimes you're standing over the ball thinking too much, thinking about what could go wrong, and that leads to tension. So think about which one would apply to you more. Is it time? Is it being over the ball for too long? Is it the thoughts that you are having? Or is it tension? Which one's the big one for you? Time, thoughts, or tension? If it's time, you want to develop a process that gets you going quicker. So instead of going into the shot and standing over it and being there for too long, just count to yourself. So it might be as soon as you are set up, 1, 2, 3, go. And practice this. 1, 2, 3, go. And see what that does for you. If it's one of your thoughts that you think too much, that's where the back hit exercise is fantastic for it. It's the one that you should use for that if you've got too many thoughts in your mind. So back, when you get to the back of the backswing, and hit when the club head hits the ball. If that doesn't work, perfectly for you, why don't we try back and finish and remove hit from the whole process? So back and finish. Good one for putting and chipping. Okay, so you'd be saying back when the putter head was at the full extent of its backstroke, and finish when it reached the end of the forward stroke. And that putter head passing the ball would be in there, but it wouldn't be a specific point. So it would be back and finish. Great for chipping as well. If it's tension, why don't we use Tim Galway's humming exercise, humming technique. And that's where you hum all the way through the shot. So that humming, pick something that's a bit more relaxing and just hum all the way through the shot. You could actually sing to yourself. Find a song or a rhythm that you like and makes you feel comfortable, and use that through the whole shot. Whilst we're doing these things, there's no room for all these thoughts to come into our head while we're standing over the ball. So try those, see how you get on, and it'll just be another tool in your toolkit that will help you manage your way around the golf course. Next week, as we start to prepare to get back to the golf course, I'm going to leave some of the mind stuff behind and we'll go into how you generate power, how you create power, and how you deliver that power. Okay, take care, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you next week.